Hey guys, it's Ahmad
And Christina
from Our Rich Journey. The stock market is reaching all-time highs once again. And we have been doing this YouTube channel for about 3 years. And during this time, we have seen the stock market climb, and also crash. And throughout this period, we have always received questions about, is it a good time to invest? Especially we get these questions when the stock market is reaching highs like it is today. But I'm gonna back up just a bit because Christina and I have been investing for a very long time. And it seems like since the day we started investing, people have been questioning whether or not they should put money into the stock market because they believe it's too high. Well, during that period, Christina and I have seen tremendous returns in the stock market. The stock market continues to go higher and higher. And so on today's video, what we want to do is talk about this perception of investing in the stock market when people believe it's at an all-time high. Should they invest now? Should they wait? How should you approach it when the stock market is doing what it's doing right now?
So one of the things that we love about this channel is that we get comments on all of our videos about all different types of things. And because this is an investing video, we want to focus on the investing comments that we've received, and we want to share some of them with you. And the reason why we want to share these comments with you is because we know that so many people can relate to these comments. So we want to go through those comments and break them down for you and hopefully move you past any fear or anxiety you have about the stock market being at an all-time high and potentially investing right now. But first, if you are new to our channel is all about making, saving, and investing money on the road to financial independence. Aman and I pursued financial independence for 8 years. We reached our goal, quit our jobs, and retired before the age of 40. So if you are interested in learning about more ways to make, save, or invest money, make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram.
So I cannot wait to get into these comments because they provide so much insight into how people are approaching investing. But before we get into those comments, let's talk about investing and market highs. Because when we get this question about whether or not we should invest in the stock market because the market seems high right now, what people are really asking us is, should they practice market timing? And if you know anything about market timing, what that is essentially is the idea that you are going to buy low and sell high. This is how you are supposed to make money in the stock market, right? You wait for prices to fall and you scoop up all of these investments, and then you wait for those prices to get high, you sell those investments. Unfortunately, no one can really time when this happens. You can't predict that the stock market will crash one day and you'll be able to buy everything on that day and also know when you are going to sell all of those things at a profit. This is virtually impossible.
So keep that idea of market timing in your head, the idea that you can buy low and sell high for the maximum amount of profit for your portfolio. Because like we said, we're gonna give you some real life examples based on our comments and the dates of those comments that people have left on some of our videos. And we're gonna run some numbers based on those comments. And the goal of running those numbers along with those comments is to really give you an idea how people fare when they try and market time. So here's a comment from a year ago. The person said, do you think it is a good time now to invest in the stock market and buy ETFs? Or do we wait until everything gets settled with the virus?
Now, when we saw this comment, so many red flags popped into our head. But keep in mind that this was 1 year ago and there was a lot of chaos going on in the world. Imagine 2020, the summer of 2020, how hectic and crazy that was. And so this person doesn't want to start investing until things settle down. Well, we have been investing for long enough to know that there's always some sort of uncertainty in the world, something that is unsettling, and as soon as that settles down, there will be something else to rile you up to make you feel like things are not settled. When you approach investing where you're waiting for the optimal environment to be settled and things to be all copacetic, you will never make your first investment. because the world is very big and there's constant chaos going on. So when we see a question like this, the idea of waiting for things to settle down, that is impossible to do.
So it's really this idea of trying to settle everything before you begin investing. And a lot of people think like that. That is one comment, but let's share another comment with you. This comment is also from a year ago, and this person said, should I start investing now on VTSAX right now or wait until the market corrects or crashes? I feel like we've been on a bull run for so many years, and I don't want to buy high, then wait a few years to get back to this point again. So this person has a concern that they buy something, there's a crash, and then the crash will take several years to recover so that they are back at the point where they just bought. And they're basically just waiting for the market to recover over that several year period. So again, it's that fear of what if the market settles in one direction or another direction and I buy at the wrong time? What do I do?
So there are a couple of things that we want to address with this comment. When you invest in the stock market, you should always invest with a plan. And when we invested in the stock market, our plan was to invest lump sums whenever we had a large amount of money and then dollar cost average into the market every month on an automatic schedule. So for us, when we invested in the stock market, no matter where we bought, we continued to buy whether the stock market was high or whether it was low. And by doing this, by consistently buying, what we were doing was capturing the highs, the lows, but in the end, it was the average return of the stock market. And history has shown us that over a long period of time, if you invest consistently, you will get the average return of the stock market. And just by doing that alone, we are sitting here millionaires, because no matter what happened in the market, we were consistently buying. So when someone says something like this in particular, if they are concerned that the stock market will crash after they invest, well, devise a plan that allows you to keep buying. Because if the market does crash and you're still buying, that means you're buying more shares at a discount. And over the long run, if you are a long-term investor, it doesn't matter that you bought today, because history shows us that even after many crashes, over the long run, the stock market is higher.
But we still understand that people have a fear of getting into the market and then there being a crash, or just not getting into the market at the right time. So that's where we want to pull in some numbers related to these comments. We want to talk about what would have happened if these people would have invested a year ago, how their money or how their portfolio would look like today. So like we said, these comments were made a year ago. And so what we want to look at is how the stock market performed from 1 year ago up until today. And we're going to use the total stock market as our tracker. We'll look specifically at VTSAX, which is Vanguard's total stock market index fund. Amon and I invest heavily into that, but it's also a really great index fund to look at when you're looking at the performance of the total stock market. So if you look at VTSAX's 1 year return, you'll see that it is 38.95%. So imagine that rather than waiting for the market to dip, if these commenters would have invested $10,000 into VTSAX 1 year ago, it would be worth $13,895 now.
So this is a great example of what happens to people all the time when they wait on the sidelines. In this particular situation, these two people may have missed out on a 38% return in the market, and they are probably still waiting on the sidelines for this crash that is supposed to happen. So many people are waiting and waiting, and each day that they wait for this crash to come, they are missing out on all of these gains in the stock market. But this is just from a year ago. There are people that have been waiting for a 2008 crash since 2010. Years and years of waiting, which means years and years of lost opportunity to see your money grow. Because now you get to a point where you see the stock market in a different perspective. You are still looking at it at the point of where you should have gotten in, and now it just seems like you've missed that boat.
So we just ran numbers based off of comments from a year ago, and the fact that the stock market since this past year has just gotten higher and higher and higher. But I know there are some of you out there that are also like, what if I put all of my money in today and a crash happens tomorrow? Well, we have numbers for that also. Back in March of 2020, there was a huge crash. And the February, right before March, before that huge crash, the stock market was at an all-time high. So we also ran numbers for people that have perhaps invested in February of 2020, right before that crash happened, to see how they would be in their portfolio today. So if you take a look at the total stock market and its performance back in February 2020 at that all-time high at that point, including the crash of March of 2020, and then all the way up until today, the stock market has performed at a 33.89% return. Meaning if you would have invested money in February of 2020 and looked at your money today in your portfolio, that money that you invested in February of 2020 would have risen 33.89% today.
And I love that we show this example because this is exactly how the stock market works. It has ups and downs, but over the long run, the stock market is always up. But there's also something else that needs to be said. The person that invested in February of 2020 to see their money crash the next month, if you did not have an investment plan in place, if you panicked and sold your investments, that's when you lost your money. And we talk a lot about paper losses versus real losses, because when you start investing in the stock market, you should always assume that as soon as you put your money into the market, you're going to see a little bit of value lost in that money. That is a shock that you should get accustomed to. And when it doesn't happen, it's just icing on the cake. But if you approach investing with that attitude that I'm putting money in, I'm not going to watch it, when the stock market crashes, I'm not worried about it because I'm a long-term investor. Over the long run, history has shown us that the stock market always goes up. And so it is this type of confidence that we are able to invest in the stock market when it is at an all-time high. It doesn't faze us because we know that there will be more highs to come.
So really the idea is that if you are investing, your goal should be to invest long-term, because history has shown us that the stock market has always gone up. Of course, you can look back historically, look at the stock market and say, oh, I should have invested here, I should have sold here, I should have done this, I should have done that. But that's always in hindsight, which makes everything so much clearer. But if you're moving forward, don't go with the allure of market timing. Just focus on understanding that you cannot control the market, you cannot predict the market, and what you really want to do is remove all emotions from investing in the market. Stock market timing is a very emotional act, and very few people are successful at it.
So to the question, is it a good time to start investing in the stock market with the stock market at all-time highs? We say yes, because history has shown us that the stock market will have more all-time highs. But if you are still not confident about investing in the stock market, you may want to check out our Investing for Financial Independence course. In that course, we show you exactly how to develop your own investment plan so that you can invest with confidence. And if you're interested in that course, we'll leave a link in the description below, or you can go to ourrichjourney.com to find out more information about that course. But in regards to this video and market timing and whether or not it's a good time to invest, we hope that this video has provided more insight for you on your journey. And so if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.